In this video, we are going to be talking about accredited investors. Stay tuned to learn what an accredited investor is. Go! Okay, so what it means to be an accredited investor is that you fit the criteria that the SEC deems as acceptable for you to be an investor. So what does that even mean? So when it comes to private offerings, basically raising angel capital and venture capital for your startup, the SEC has rules on who can invest their money in these kinds of companies. Really, the goal is to prevent people who cannot afford to take the hit from being swindled by someone like a Bernie Madoff or somebody who has a Ponzi scheme. It's really the intent of the SEC behind this is to prevent that kind of situation from happening. And the way they do it is there's this regulation in the SEC called Regulation D. And it talks about all these different rules when it comes to investing in private companies. And one of the things that they came up with was the accredited investor. So you basically have to satisfy certain terms. So to be an accredited investor, you must demonstrate to the SEC that you have an annual income of $200,000, or if you're married and you have joint income, then that joint household income has to be at least $300,000, has to have been that way for 2 years, and it has to look like that's going to be the case or better for the foreseeable future. The other option is you have a net worth of at least $1 million. So you could be a person and be a wealthy person and either make a lot of money or have a lot of money already, or you could have an entity that is an accredited investor. An entity is an accredited investor if it is a private business or an organization with assets exceeding $5 million. By the way, all of this information is coming from INVESTOPEDIA. I'm gonna have links down below to where I got this information. Why this all matters, why you need to know this, is because the SEC basically stipulates who you can and cannot raise capital from when starting your business. And they make sure that you have to go to accredited investors to make sure you're not taking away someone's entire life savings, that kind of thing. And should things go south, that they have no backstop or anything like that. That's the general intent behind these sorts of laws. Now, there is an exception to what I just said with the SEC picking and choosing who you can and can't raise money from. And that is also something found in Regulation D. A non-accredited investor is someone who does not meet those terms, right? Doesn't have the $200,000 a year or the $300,000 a year joint income or the net worth of $1 million or being a $5 million company. So if you're none of those things, you are not accredited. But that doesn't mean you can't raise money from them. So they have a stipulation in Regulation D that a private offering can be sold to a maximum of 35 non-accredited investors. And the reason for that is you could scrape a little bit of money from a handful of friends and family. So just know that when you raise capital, that if you raise from non-accredited investors, what the impact could be to them, and understand that your cap is 35. That's what I have for you guys on accredited investors today. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a like and leave me a comment in the comment section below, letting me know what kinds of things you want to see from this channel in the future. That's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you in the next video.